From great stories to tales of intrigue, we present WCRS Radiostage. Please join us for this exercise of the imagination with radio drama. Today, another brick wall mystery by David E. Binkley. That sound tells us there's only 15 seconds till curtain time. So get comfortable in your chair as we go to Studio X, and WCRS Radiostage presents the story, The Ghost That Killed.
You know you're in trouble. Somebody's watching. And you're not quite sure who to call. Well, there's one private eye that you can depend on. And they call him Brick Wall. Well, he's tough as a bulldog, built like a schoolhouse. You smack him and he seldom will fall. Why, he takes a licking, he keeps on ticking. Yeah, that's right, he's the man. Brick Wall. Well, all the ladies, they just love him, and he just loves them right back. No matter how short or how tall, he'll serve and protect you for just 2 C-notes a day. Call him up, he's Brick Wall.
My name is Myron James Byran, but you probably know me as MJ Byran. I've written a lot of things, but nothing has ever sold as well as my Brickman Wall mysteries. Oh, I suppose I could tell you that I'd like to write artistic stories that critics proclaim a true work of art, and the public proclaims a cure for insomnia. I could tell you that, but I'd be lying to you, and I'd be lying to myself. The fact is, I enjoy writing brick wall stories. Brick is everything that I'm not. He's a tough cookie, and he radiates so much self-confidence that just about every woman he comes in contact with falls for him. Like I said, Brick is what I'm not. I also enjoy the lifestyle that selling 14 bestsellers can bring, but even the financial rewards aren't enough to keep me pounding away on the word processor. Sometimes the ideas don't come as fast as I'd like them to. All right, call it what it is, writer's block. What I really need to do is go out, get a fresh perspective. But my usual approach is to try and write my way out of the block. I find that this way usually takes me about twice as long to finish a book. This forced writing to cure my writer's block is about as effective as curing alcoholism by taking another drink. Brick sat back in his chair and thought about her problem without speaking. She'd taken the time to place herself carefully on a chair across from Brick's desk so that she would be at her most attractive. Yet she wasn't quite sure whether he was staring at her or through her.
You have an interesting problem there, sweetheart. But looking at the cash register, don't put bread on the table. Just how are you going to be able to afford my services? Without saying a word, she walked over to my side of the desk and kissed me fully on the lips. If this was the down payment, I sure didn't want to miss any installments. Looking at the cash register, don't put bread on the table?
Something wrong with that?
Is there anything right with that?
I suppose you could do better.
I suppose that a monkey with a busted typewriter could do better.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'd spell better than he would.
Yeah, it's only because you got spell checker.
All right, you don't have to get so nasty about it.
You know, MJ, you really could use a vacation.
What I could really use is an idea. I have a deadline to make.
Like the story about the doctor who only gave his patient 6 months to live. And when he didn't pay his bill, the doctor gave him another 6 months.
Oh, thank you, Henny Youngman.
With what you're writing, you're going to have about 700 pages and nothing to publish. The publisher will give you all the time you need, MJ, as long as you send him something worth printing.
I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. I don't need a date right now.
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that you could use a harem right about now.
Oh, yeah, I'm right in the middle of a book. I don't need to be distracted.
I've read what you've been writing. Heck, I am what you've been writing. And believe me, you could use a distraction.
Well, okay, maybe so, but you let me make that decision.
You're the boss.
Oh, saved by the bell.
Mr. Byran, this is Stacy Stevens from the old Network Insurance Company.
Oh, yeah, Stacy, how are you?
Keeping busy. Are you very busy?
You mean right this second, or in general?
You really know how to treat a lady, buddy.
I'm sorry, Stacy. It's just that I'm stuck on this story. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking, if you weren't too busy, you might be able to help me out here.
There's a couple of things that I would like to help her out with.
Well, you have your own investigators. What do you need me for?
It's a little tough to describe over the phone, but if I'm right, I'll need someone with a bit of imagination to break this open.
If imagination is all the job requires, then you're overqualified, MJ.
Of course, I won't be asking you to do this as a favor. There will be a fee involved.
You'll pay me to use my imagination. Well, that sounds right up my alley. I'll tell you what, Stacy, I'll be at your office in about an hour. If it sounds interesting enough, I'll see what I can do.
I'll look forward to seeing you.
Funny, that's usually my line.
I want to thank you for coming right over, Brick.
That's, Myron.
If she can look at you and see me, then she's in worse shape than you are, MJ.
Of course you are, Myron.
Wow. I think she's actually drooling.
Just what is this case that you have that's so intriguing, please?
Case? Oh, yes, the case. I have a client, a Benny Bandito.
So what's wrong with Benny besides his name?
Oh, nothing except he's being threatened.
Oh, well, what does that have to do with me? I'm not a bodyguard.
You got that one, buddy. As a bodyguard, you'd make a better bus driver. And I've seen you driving.
I guess if this is an interesting case, I should ask who this Benny Bandito is being threatened by.
Wrong question.
And what would the right question be?
Not who is threatening him, but what is threatening him.
All right. What is threatening him?
Mr. Benny Bandito is being threatened by a ghost.
A ghost.
Do you think you'd like to take a crack at it?
Well, if the story is as good as you say it is, I'll have as good a chance at breaking it as I do at winning the lottery.
You can't win the lottery if you don't play.
So what do you say?
Go ahead, MJ. I'll help you out.
Well, I guess I could take a little time to look into it.
Good. Here's the number of Horace Hannibal. He's Benny's lawyer. He has all the details you'll need to work on this case. And you'll also need this.
5553. This isn't Hannibal's phone number. Whose is it?
Mine. You must have lost the last one I gave you because you never used it.
I didn't want to appear too anxious.
Well, you certainly accomplished your goal, Brick.
That's Myron.
Of course it is.
She really needs to have her eyes checked.
Yes?
There's an MJ Byran here to see you, Mr. Hannibal.
Byron? Byron? I don't know any Byron. Is he a
He
client?
says he's a writer.
A writer? I don't have time to talk to any reporter.
He says he's not a reporter, he's a novelist.
Novelist? I don't understand what that has to do with me.
Well, he says he was sent here by Stacy Stevens of the old Network Insurance Company.
Why? Does he want to sue her?
He says that he's here to look into the Benny Bandito matter for her.
Then why didn't he tell me that?
Because he's standing in here next to me?
So he is. Send him in.
Do you want me to make him wait so he can think you're busier than you are?
No, we only do that for paying clients. Send him in.
Very well, Boopsy.
And don't call me Boopsy in front of the clients.
But he's not a client.
Just send him in.
Mr. Hannibal, I'm MJ Byran.
Byron? Byron, why does that name sound so familiar to me?
Well, maybe you've read one of my books.
Why, do you write legal reference?
Oh, murder mysteries.
Murder mysteries. Never touch the stuff.
I wonder what brand of stuff he does touch. He could light a bonfire with all the alcohol on his breath.
You aren't any relation to Judge Winthrop, Byron, are you?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Good. I never did like the man. Just what can I do for you, Mr. Byron?
For starters, you could breathe in another direction. I think you're welting my lapels.
Well, I'm not quite sure. I was sent here by Stacy Stevens of the Old Network Insurance Company. She seems to think that I can help in the Benny Bandito matter.
I was the one who convinced her that Benny needed protection.
And why would Mr. Bandito need protection?
Maybe he was drinking with him.
Quiet.
How can I tell you when you want me to be quiet?
Oh, no, I didn't mean you.
Well, there's no one else in the room.
Yeah, get out of this one, buddy.
I'm sorry. I felt a sneeze coming on.
You talk to your sneezes? You know, I had a client once who used to talk to shopping carts. He never could go into a Kroger without me having to bail him out.
How about that, MJ? A guy more pathetic than you.
Which brings us to Mr. Benny Bandito, a friend of mine and a client of your insurance company.
Well, just what does Mr. Bandito talk to?
Well, Benny, he talks to his wife.
Nothing dangerous about that.
I should say he talks to his ex-wife.
That's a little more dangerous.
I should say he talks to his dead wife.
Now that's dangerous.
Is there anything else you should say?
I guess I should say that she talks to him. She threatens him.
Sure sounds like an ex-wife.
Well, just how does she threaten him?
On the phone and through his radios. She says that she's going to kill him to bring him to where she is.
I think I saw this one on the Twilight Zone. Or was it the Outer Limits? I always get those two mixed up.
How did Mrs. Bandito leave us?
In her Porsche.
And they say you can't take it with you.
They found her car in the East River about 6 months ago.
So she drowned then?
Yes, but they never did find the body.
Ah, then how do you know she's dead?
Inside the car, they found her purse with all her identification and money. I have been tracking all of Benny's accounts for the last 6 months, and there are no unauthorized withdrawals. If she is alive, then she's out there without any means of support, and that's not her style.
Well, just what was her style?
Spending. Non-stop buying and spending.
Find out how they got along.
How happily married was this happily married couple?
Like most married couples, I guess. They fought a lot, had nothing in common.
If you ever marry me off, MJ, I'm never speaking to you again.
Do you believe that Mr. Bandito's dead wife is harassing him?
Mr. Byron, I don't believe in anything I can't sue. But I do believe that he believes that she's threatening him.
I guess he hasn't a ghost of a chance for a restraining order, huh? Just what is it that we're supposed to do anyway?
Well, what is it that you think I can do for him?
I'm not sure what your qualifications are, you being a writer.
I've often wondered what your qualifications are to being called a writer.
But since the insurance company trusts you to protect their interests, then I can trust you with my friend. What I want you to do is to stay with Benny for a while and protect him.
You? He's got to be kidding, MJ.
I'm not exactly built like a bodyguard, and although I'll admit I've seen the movie several times, I have never performed an exorcism.
I don't want you to protect him from a ghost. I want you to protect him from himself. He's been an old ninny since he started getting these contacts.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm right for this job, Mr. Hannibal.
This should take care of fees and expenses that you may incur.
Whoa, this could take care of the fees and expenses of the Texas Rangers payroll.
I don't know.
If you don't do it for the money, then do it for the adventure. I'll do it for the money. And I'll protect you from the big bad ghost.
Ghost, huh? All right, I'll do it.
Great. I knew I could count on you.
Anything in particular you want me to look out for?
No, just keep a close eye on Benny. He's been as nervous as a china shop in Palermo during the running of the bulls. My secretary will give you his address on your way out, and I'll call Benny and let him know to expect you. Now, if you don't mind, I have some people I have to sue.
I'll be in touch with you, Mr. Hannibal.
Did you see him salivating when he said he had some people to sue?
Oh, yeah, that man does enjoy his job.
You're telling me the guy should wear a bib.
Hey, here's his secretary. Mr. Hannibal said you'd have an address for me.
Yes, here you go, Mr. Byron.
Apartment 27. Mr. Bandido lives in an apartment?
No, but I do. Make sure you call after 7. Give me some time to get home and slip into something a little more comfortable.
I don't get it. Must be the fame thing.
Mr. Bandido's address, please.
What? Oh, yes, the address. Here you go.
Thank you.
No problem. Remember, after 7?
Yeah, I'll try to remember that.
Don't worry. If you do, I won't.
Hey, it's really good to meet you, Mr. Myron. How about a drink?
No thanks. I usually don't drink this time of the day. And by the way, the name's Byron.
Hey, first name basis. Great. I knew we were going to hit it off. I just can't believe you're here. You know, I have all your books.
Maybe he should read one of them.
Funny coincidence. I have all my books, too.
How about a drink?
Look at that. 60-year-old scotch. You know, maybe you could have a couple of fingers. I've never had 60-year-old scotch before, MJ.
On second thought, maybe I will have a small drink.
Great. You know what they say about guys that drink together?
Yeah, they get drunk together.
Well, here's mud in your eye.
I think I'd rather have mud in my eye.
Smooth. That is some good hooch.
Yeah, good for removing paint.
Like it, huh? How about another?
Maybe next lifetime. Benny, I need to talk to you about your wife.
Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda Bandido.
Almost. You forgot the hyphen. You know, when a woman keeps part of her maiden name?
And that would make her...
Brenda Bowen Bandido.
Now, that's a mouthful.
Tell me about Brenda, Benny.
I'll tell you, Byron.
That's Myron.
Brenda was the strongest-willed, most obstinate, opinionated, stubborn woman I ever met. She's also the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
That's her picture?
Yeah, that's her.
Move over, Miss November.
Yeah, she's quite a dish, Benny.
If she's a dish, then I'll never figure out why that dish ran away with a spoon.
Yeah, well, the spoon had a truckload of money.
I think I've hit my limit. You know, I swear I heard you say something about spoons with money.
I was just saying it would take a truckload of money to spoon the likes of her.
Nice recovery, pal.
You would be right at that. Now, the average Joe could never afford her. But then, I'm not the average Joe.
Well, just how well off are you, Benny?
Let's just say I lent a pretty penny to Bill Gates when he was starting Microsoft, and he paid me back in stocks.
Benny, do you believe that Brenda is dead?
Mr. Myron.
Byron.
Brenda had a lot of good qualities.
I know. I can see most of them in that picture.
But being frugal wasn't one of them. You know, she never really bought expensive things, mostly clothes and shoes. But when she bought clothes, she really bought clothes. If she's out there, she's really living below the lifestyle which she's become accustomed to. I don't think she could do it. None of my accounts have been touched by anyone other than myself. Yeah, I think she's dead.
When did she start communicating with you?
Well, that started a couple months ago, but the contacts are becoming a lot more frequent now.
Just how does she contact you?
Well, she usually uses the telephone, but sometimes she talks to me over the radio.
Oh, a techno-ghost.
She calls you on the phone, and you still think that she's dead.
Well, the first time she talked to me, it was through my stereo speakers. Now, there aren't too many people outside of DJs who can talk over the radio.
Well, I haven't figured that one out yet.
Well, I have. She's dead, and she's trying to get me to kill myself.
Oh, brother, I think he's had one shot too many today.
And just in case you're thinking that I've had one shot too many, I sober up instantly whenever I hear from her.
But just how often do you hear from her?
When it first started, it was every other day. Then pretty soon I was hearing from her every day. And now, every day I hear from her at least twice a day.
Pretty busy for a ghost. Ask about a prenup.
Good idea. Did Brenda sign a prenuptial agreement before you were married?
She had to, Mr. Myron.
Byron.
Horace would have never let me get married without one.
Really? I didn't know you and Hannibal were going to be married.
You're pretty funny, Byron.
That's Myron, hosehead.
I pay Horace a nice, fat monthly retainer to watch out for my interests.
What were the terms of the agreement?
Well, $500,000 a year for every year we stayed married.
$500,000?
No, 500,000 peanut butter cups.
Well, I figured that for $500,000 a year, I could get her to stick around for a while. You see, Mr. Byron?
Byron.
I have no delusions. I know that she married me for love, the love of money. I just thought that, I thought maybe I could get her to love me if she stuck around long enough.
How long had you been together?
For 5 years.
That would make her worth...
$2.5 million. And all she had to do was divorce you.
Well, if you have enough fries, I guess you really don't need the rest of the Happy Meal.
So you see, Byron?
Myron.
That's why I'm sure she's really dead. All she had to do to be rich was to leave me.
For that much money, I'd leave you, MJ.
And vice versa.
I've heard that no matter how beautiful a woman is, there's a man somewhere out there who's tired of her. You know, I never got tired of her.
I think he really means that. You better change the subject before he uses you as a crying towel.
Right. Well, let's see. There was a duck, a clown, and a priest going into a bar.
Excuse me a second, will you?
Saved by the bell.
I want to hear the punchline to that one.
Yeah, me too.
Hello? Is anyone on the line?
Hello, Benny. Do you miss me?
You know I do.
Well, don't worry, Snicker Bar. You'll be with me soon enough. Till death do us part doesn't always count.
Why are you doing this?
Benny, is it Brenda?
Yeah, it's her.
Quick, let me have the phone. Hello? Hello? There's no one there. Benny, are you sure it was Brenda?
Of course I am. Don't you think I know my own wife's voice? She called me Snicker Bar. She's the only one who knew that.
Snicker Bar.
Yeah. She said I was very filling.
Maybe she meant that he was full of nuts.
Well, one way to find out for sure.
The last incoming call was from area code 137-555-2147. This call occurred at 12:47 p.m. If you wish to call the number using automatic callback, dial 1. Otherwise, hang up.
Horace Hannibal Law Offices. Who can I sue for you today?
Oh, sorry. Must have dialed the wrong number.
No problem. Just keep me in mind for all your legal needs.
Ooh, that was like calling a telemarketer.
The lawyer, huh? Do you think he's involved with the dame for the dough?
Well, he could be.
What were you doing there?
I used the *69 feature on your phone so I could find out where that last call came from.
And did you find out?
Well, it said the last call you received came from your lawyer's office.
Horace. I can't believe he has anything to do with this. After all, he's the one that hired you to watch me.
He could have done that to keep the suspicion off himself. A lot of people who think they're clever have tried to get away with that one.
Well, I would suspect Hannibal, except for one thing. The last call came in over 4 hours ago, and that was about the time I was leaving his office. According to the phone company, nobody just called here.
Why do I always get stuck in the back seat? Do you really think he should be driving half blind in the dark?
Are you all right, Benny?
I was pretty nervous, but I had a couple of drinks at dinner to steady myself.
Now that's comforting news.
That's interesting music you have there on the radio, Benny.
Yeah, I love the stuff. That's the only station I ever listened to. I'm a creature of habit.
But what's that voice?
Benny, I'm coming to get you.
There she is. Do you see her?
I'm coming
I don't know, I see
to
something.
get you.
It's her. It's her, I tell you. It's her.
Do something, MJ. He's going off the road.
I'll get her. I'll get her.
It's a tree, Benny. Look out. Benny. Ow. Oh, my arm. Oh, God, I think it's broken. Oh, there's a cell phone in here someplace. There it is. 911. Oh, come on, answer. Yes, it's an emergency. It's a car accident on Dressler Road. Please, can you get an ambulance here quick? Yeah, I think he's dead.
Well, Mr. Byron, calling hours are almost over.
I'm sorry. I guess I really let you down.
You did your best. How's your arm?
Other than broken in 2 places, it's great.
I guess it goes to show you that things don't always work out in life like they do in your books.
Knockout at 2 o'clock, MJ.
But then again, Mr. Hannibal, sometimes they do. Look behind you.
Oh, my God, it's Brenda!
Horace, it's good to see you again, even under these circumstances.
I'd like to see her under any circumstances.
I came as soon as I saw it in the papers.
Where were you, Brenda? I thought you were dead.
Well, Benny was strangling me with all his attention. I just had to get away to see if I really did love him.
And did you figure it out, Brenda?
I'm sorry, just who are you?
Oh, sorry, my name's Myron. I'm a friend of Benny's. I was with him at the end. You know, he loved you very much. Did you ever figure out if you loved him?
As a matter of fact, I did. I had decided to come back to him.
Well, I guess you're a very wealthy woman, Mrs. Bandito.
Oh, I'd give it all up to see him smile at me again.
Well, you're here to pay your respects. It was a closed casket service because of the accident, but I'm sure we can make an exception for you.
Oh, no, I'd rather remember him as he was.
Nonsense, please. Look.
It's empty.
Sorry to disappoint you. And I changed my will. I'm leaving my money to the home for aged alcoholics. There is nothing for you.
You can't do that. We have an agreement.
Oh, I'm afraid he can. You committed fraud when you faked your death. You broke the law by making harassing phone calls. And I am pretty sure the FCC would be very interested in that little device you have to block phone call detection. I think they'd also be interested in that juiced-up Mr. Microphone you have. They don't look very kindly on people who interfere with radio signals.
Anything else?
You know, she's really beautiful when she's angry.
I do have a waiver for you to sign. This simply states that you will receive a divorce and no money in exchange for the agreement that we will not prosecute you.
Give me the papers.
So, there you have it. The suicide that wasn't, the accidental death that wasn't, and the inheritance that wasn't to be. Oh, I really did break my arm in 2 places. But the bonus I got from Horace Hannibal for saving him 2.5 million clams, it eases the pain a bit. It also gave me an idea for my next book, The Ghost That Killed, and I'm already on Chapter 9. And I found out that Hannibal's secretary is very good at taking dictation, and at other things.
I'll say she is.
You know you're in trouble. Somebody's watching. And you're not quite sure who to call. Well, there's one private eye that you can depend on, and they call him Brick Wall. Well, he's tough as a bulldog, built like a schoolhouse. You smack him and he seldom will fall. Why, he takes a licking and he keeps on ticking. Yeah, that's right, he's the man. Brick Wall. All the ladies, they just love him, and he just loves them right back. No matter how short or how tall, he'll serve and protect you for just 2 C-notes a day. Call him up, he's Brick Wall.
Today's program featured David Roden as MJ Byran, Jim Pesci as Horace Hannibal, David Crawford as Benny Bandito, Rebecca Marsh as Brenda Bandito, Barb Bruno as Stacy Stevens, Rose Rose as the secretary, Melinda Buchanan as the phone recording, and Joseph Dick as the Brick Wall. The Ghost That Killed was written by David Binkley. The love theme from Brick Wall was written by David Crawford and David Binkley. Original music was written and performed by David Crawford. Theme music for WCRS Radiostage was written by David Crawford and Tom Holman. WCRS Radiostage is produced in Akron, Ohio, by David Binkley and David Crawford. I'm Joe Calley, inviting you to join us the next time we open the curtain on WCRS Radiostage.